Oh, fudge. Does anyone want some? Got nuts in it.
Hey, what's up, guys? How goes it? Welcome to another episode of the Power Up Podcast. This show tries to keep itself up to date and sharp of what's happening in pop culture. Take a look at what's good, what's bad, ugly, with the hopes of at least keeping people informed, myself included, and to remind people that we can be entertained for entertainment's sake and we don't need a bunch of woke garbage inserted into there. Kind of pressed for time a little bit. Eating like a critter. Yeah, I just got done. Yeah, my day's been rather tight in terms of that. But yes, we got some articles here. Big news is as Assassin's Creed Shadows is about to be released. Ubisoft, like a bunch of bitches, apparently have gotten a bunch of lawyers together. Excuse me, and is supposedly keeping an eye out to protect the developers who might be threatened or anything like that or harassed. And really, what it is that they just can't handle criticism because to them, that is threats and stuff. So we've got a couple articles about that and amongst other stuff. Let's hop into it, shall we? So this caught my eye first over at Niche Gamer. Ashley Birch worried over Sony's AI experiment with Alloy for Horizon series. We recently covered Sony's controversial decision to experiment with AI in future games, starting with Alloy from their Horizon franchise. The new AI-based model for Alloy from the Horizon franchise is being made to answer questions from players. While Sony has since denied they're actively using this AI in future games, the voice actress of Alloy felt compelled to speak out. So, Ashley Birch, the voice actress of Alloy in Horizon Zero Dawn, has posted a short video of her addressing Sony's experiments with AI. Naturally, as the voice actress, Ashley Birch would not want the AI to take her job or the jobs of other voice performers. I am actually of the opposite. If the voice performers are too busy presenting themselves as some sort of political ally to a certain ideology as opposed to just doing their job and act, then let them get replaced. Let them get replaced. If you don't cause trouble online, if you don't insult the fans, if you don't really bring your ideology into the workplace and have it affect the final product, then you're fine. But at that point, if people are doing that, then to me you care more about the current, political sphere that's happening. And if that's the case, then by all means get replaced and go join the picket line then. If because it's clear that you care more about that than you do about what you're claiming is your passion and stuff. Yeah, you can have your opinions and stuff like that, but this is becoming this is where the ideology is being part of the final product, and it was never like that to begin with. It's that garbage that needs to be removed. Skyrim has been your go-to game for over a year now because you never did have done a playthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn. Me neither, and I have no plan to. Well, very true. So she stated, let's talk about AI Alloy. I saw the tech demo earlier this week. Gorilla reached out to me to let me know that the demo didn't reflect anything that was actively in development, Birch said. They didn't use any of my performance for the demo, so none of my facial or voice data, and Gorilla owns Alloy as a character. He added, so all that said, I feel worried, and not worried about Gorilla specifically or Horizon or my performance or my career specifically even. I feel worried about this art form. Game performance as an art form. What's up, Scotty? Yo, watching the show on Twitter? Oh, thanks, brother. I don't believe that for a second. She's 100% worried about her career. Because it's getting closer to the point where you don't need people like that anymore. A lot of them we actually don't need because they care more about making sure that their ideology is up front and centered as opposed to actually caring about the art form that they're claiming they do. How's it going? It's going. It's been a stressful day at work. We have some tight deadlines here, so kind of have to keep the show rolling in terms of that. But it'll pass. Other than that, doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. But while these fears are certainly founded in many cases, it should be noted there are millions of clients who are strongly opposed to AI usage in the arts. This means that non-AI artists are going to be completely replaced, even if some are having financial troubles due to a decline in sales. Also, interest in AI images has declined significantly from its peak in 2023, which means that as the novelty wears off, non-AI artists are making a comeback. But remember, like these people got in an uproar when, localization, localizers are getting replaced with just AI translation, which again, all you have to do is just perform and that's it. But the fact you have to make some sort of retarded political statement on top of whatever it is you're doing, that's when people get annoyed. Yeah, it is concerning to see actors and actresses getting replaced by AI. The likeness of the actors and actresses has been a concern for a long time, I think for a long time. Yeah, she should have made the video, period. So she is worried. I mean, the post is right here. I mean, I guess we could. Here you go. Oh, is that going to play? Oh, I can't hear it on my end. I have to probably plug in my headphones. Hopefully this isn't like reverb or anything. That doesn't. It like froze.
AI Aloy. I saw the tech demo earlier this week. Gorilla reached out to me to let me know that the demo didn't reflect anything that was actively in development. They didn't use any of my performance for the demo, so none of my facial or voice data. And Gorilla owns Aloy as a character. So all that said, I feel
if they that's the other thing too. If they own the character, then they can do whatever they want with it. Your contract probably states that all likeness and stuff has been given over to them. So really, they can do whatever.
I'm not worried about Gorilla specifically or Horizon or my performance or my career specifically even. I feel worried about this art form.
Why?
Game performance as an art form. We are currently on strike.
Oh, there it is. Oh, the article
is on strike against
the article didn't say that.
Video games because of AI.
No audio, just kidding.
Technology exists because we know that game companies want to use it. We're asking for protections. So currently what we're fighting for is that you have to get our consent before you make an AI version of us in any form. You have to compensate us.
There it is. There it is.
You have to tell us.
I don't need to listen to it anymore. I don't need to listen anymore. That explains it right there. 100%. 100% worried about losing their job because that's part of the strike. Well, you have we have the right for our likeness and blah, blah, blah. But they they replace their likeness. They a lot of contracts, it states in the contract that all, your voice, your likeness, your XYZ is now, by signing this, you're giving that over to the company. So Yeah, I don't need to listen to anymore. Article failed to mention that. The minute that the strike got brought up, I knew. So I'm like, whatever. I'm not listening to it anymore. Machine translations have always been met with pushback, but them replacing localizers is partly for the better. But the Twitter stream is a little behind compared to the YouTube stream. Oh, sorry. I can't do anything there. But this one was a big one coming up too. This is also from Niche Gamer. GOP Texas bill could jail you for owning or watching Goblin Slayer and more. So a shocking censorship bill was unanimously passed by Republicans in Texas that would effectively make it a jailable offense to own or look at many manga series. The new bill would purportedly make it a crime to own multiple popular Japanese manga, including Goblin Slayer, Fruit Baskets, and many others. The office of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick posted in support of the bill right after it passed the Senate and will soon head to the governor's office to be signed. Bill in question is Senate Bill 20, sponsored by GOP Senator Pete Flores. The bill, in its own words, creates a new state offense for the possession and promotion of obscene material that appears to depict a child younger than 18-old, regardless of whether the depiction is of an actual child, cartoon, or animation, or an image created using an artificial intelligence application or other computer software. Furthermore, subparagraph C of the bill states an offense under this section is a state jail felony, directing first-time offenders convicted under the law to a minimum of 5 years in prison simply for owning or viewing such materials. As many responses have pointed out, many popular manga would be banned in Texas if this law is signed into law. Well, you mean if this bill is signed into law? It's not a law yet if it's not signed, which certainly seems like it will at this point. Goblin Slayer is the example many are pointing to due to the infamous assault scenes of characters by goblins in their early issues. And then they go on to talk about, manga like Fruit Baskets could be criminalized depending how broad a judge or state persecutor wishes to interpret, quote, sexual acts in the court of law. Only children's manga such as Pokemon and Sailor Moon seem to be safe under a literal reading of the law. Unfortunately, this law in Texas is just the latest escalation in the culture war of anime that has been escalating for the past few years. Then you have Moms for Liberty, a conservative organization which had previously focused on removing LGBTQ books from school libraries, have recently begun to push for the removal of degenerate anime such as Unico and Assassination Classroom. And then, of course, it mentions Matt Walsh. Hopefully, this law will be overturned by the Supreme Court, and then Niche Gamer will keep you informed of all developments as the story. So right now, it sounds pretty bad, but listening to what Legal Mindset has to say, and I actually have a clip pulled up from Side Scrollers here. Honestly, this is rage bait. This is rage bait because shout out to Side Scrollers right here, as you can see, and from Parker Girl that posted this. This is from it. But the main thing right here, so it's, if we kind of back up a little bit. So an image this is part of what it says. An image that to a reasonable person would be virtually indistinguishable from the image of a child. An image created, adapted, or modified to be the image of an identifiable child. So we move over here then. So there's an amended by inserting at the end of the following paragraph. It explains what they mean by graphics. So I'm not going to read that. And you can watch this live stream too. Check out Side Scrollers. They're awesome. As well as Legal Mindset. He talks about this too. But right here, the term indistinguishable used with respect to a depiction means virtually indistinguishable, in that the depiction is such that an ordinary person viewing the depiction will conclude that the depiction is of an actual minor engaged in sexually explicit conduct. This definition does not apply to depictions that are drawings, cartoons, sculptures, or painting depicting minors and adults. It's rage bait. Legal Mindset mentioned this too in his 2000K stream. I don't have that one pulled up, but like a lot of what people are pointing out apparently is kind of stuff that's already been in place. And really the big one right here is right here. Like we can even
paragraphs 10 graphic when used with respect observe roundabout I don't or
Dragon Ball's
during
got
any
it. Indistinguishable.
Indistinguishable. Damn it.
All right.
In that the
Blabs
depiction
apparently
acts
cannot
of
say
minor
indistinguishable.
engagement sexually explicit
News.
So-
doesn't affect anime then, or adults. That
Right
are
here.
drawings, cartoons, sculptures, or paintings depicting minors or adults. So this doesn't affect anime then.
So anime and manga are not affected.
I'm so
So
confused.
that's complete rage bait then, that article.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And
Fake news.
yeah, so there we are. I think that's just it, right? You have
Yep.
It seems like a total rage bait article written by Carver Fisher over here.
Yeah, who is this guy?
Yeah. So
Proving oh.
there you go.
Huh. Yeah, I'm looking
Pronouns
too.
they them. Oh no, it got he in
I
there.
found their Twitter. Shall we look?
So
sure.
there you go. This was, I mean, I don't know about this person, but there you go. Yes, from that pointing out, it looks like it's total rage bait. And I'd also thought about this, and to point this out as well, that would also include shows like South Park. South Park has had some stuff, and they fight really hard with they fight against the networks really hard to get certain stuff on that too. So that would also mean that shows like South Park would get banned. Like this, it's not just anime and all that stuff. So I'm not losing sleep over this. I think this is 100% rage bait. So shout out to Legal Mindset for explaining that a little bit more. You can check it out there. I might be able to find whatever he's talking about, but definitely shout out to the side scrollers for pointing that out. Here you go. Or maybe I can actually find the Legal Mindset really quick. Derp-a-derp. I think I might have actually.
Anime. It's not. That's like Texas is banning anime. That's clickbait. And I'm not buying that's that may or it's definitely gonna bite. The point of the matter is
Here you go. Bring that up here as well.
that's not your average anime. So like people are like, this is gonna ban My Dress Up Darling. Like that is definitely clickbait. Like that's definitely farming because that's
But
not.
it might
what-
ban redo of Healer.
Sure, it might ban Redo, but it's not going to ban most animes. Redo is a fucking super exception, and even then, there could be a censored version of Redo that makes the cut. So, yeah, I'm not buying that's like Texas is banning anime. That's clickbait. And I love my like pro anime people, my base bros, but that's a little far, right? Saying that's banning anime. It's not. Philip A. Dermar.
Oh, I thought he would explain it more. Like I found this. Oh, here you go.
This.
Is there any more?
I think this is it right
So-
here.
321 has the definitions of what they mean by all of this.
Yeah, obscene device means obscene device means a dildo or artificial vagina.
What about the
Obscene
Volvo
means
there? Is that obscene?
the average. Oh yeah, Baldo would fit that. The average person applying contemporary community standards would find this as a whole appeals to the prurient interest in sex, depicts and describes patently offensive representation and depictions of ultimate sexual acts, normal and perverted, actual or stimulated, including sexual intercourse, sodomy, and sexual bestiality, or patently offensive representations of masturbation, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to read all these, right? The point of the matter is that's not your average anime. So like people are like, this is going to ban the
Yeah. So here it is right here. I guess I must have watched it earlier, but
right. And if you look up like the types of behavior they're talking about, so I'll pull that up real quick. Like public indecency here, like it's talking about like this is. Let me zoom in. It's kind of hard to read, and there's a little bit of flashbang here. Sorry guys, but like it's talking about like deviant sexual intercourse.
yeah,
and, like,
there you go.
genitalia.
Again, I think
4320.
the side scrollers pointed out that one section, and it's the fact of like it's clearly distinguishable. So, shout out to Legal Mindset and side scrollers for that. So I'm not too worried about that. Like I said, but Legal Mindset, it's definitely concerning. That's for sure. Again, This is something where I guess, as someone who is probably more conservative than definitely liberal, there's retards on all sides, and this just shows the side that Republicans are so out of touch with the pop culture that when they do stupid crap like that. Like I said, that goes beyond just like again, because if it's written so vague, then anything's off table or on the table for them to go after, which is ridiculous. Marvel boss Kevin Feige, reportedly annoyed by success of X-Men 97, former showrunner Bo DeMeo calls out Marvel's disrespect and ego. I find this hilarious just because it's literally snakes getting mad at snakes. He also made a recent comment. I saw something about Christianity, but like, well, so much for the, Christian thing for being tolerant or something. And retarded. Though the behind-the-scenes drama at Marvel Studios continues to escalate as former X-Men 97 showrunner Bo DeMeo has publicly accused Marvel boss Kevin Feige of being annoyed at the success of the animated series. Really? Was it really that successful? I don't think it was that successful. In a scathing post on X, DeMeo alleges that Feige deliberately distanced himself from the project only to express frustration when it became one of Marvel's highest rated releases on Rotten Tomato. Oh, dude, if you have to go to Rotten Tomatoes to try to support that your thing was like successful, oh boy. Oh, goodness gracious. So he claimed he was informed from an employee that Feige was displeased by the show's positive reception and its comparison to X2 X-Men United, a film Feige himself co-produced early in his career. So there's the tweet. Here's the quote. So I was informed by an employee, Kevin Feige's response to the show of the success of the show and it being their highest rated project on Rotten Tomatoes was that he would prefer if it wasn't being used as a referendum of the MCU's failures, and his announced annoyance that people hold it up to X2, DeMeo said on X. Kevin did not give X-Men 97 any of his attention. I met with him to pitch it and was hired and never got a note from him afterward at all. And now he's annoyed it did well without me and the crew needing him. Oh, please. Dude, you bastardize a lot of stuff, dude. Like, give me a break. Again, this is, a snake getting mad at another snake. To me, it's hilarious. Snakey, dog eat dog world. Further revealed that Marvel Studios declined to organize a rap party for him, or not just for him, apparently the 97 crew after production wrapped, leaving him to personally foot the bill to celebrate the team's work. Oh, sort of disgusting disrespect and ego, he said. Explains why I had to pay for the rap party for the crew out of my pocket because Marvel declined to honor the crew's hard work. Never meet your heroes. Your hard work is bastardizing a lot of already established lore, you piece of garbage. You straight up admitted that, oh yeah, there was homosexual tension between Morph and Wolverine. Like, fuck off. And then it talks about, we've read about this before, his clash. He was fired from X-Men 97 amid unproven allegations that he sent inappropriate photos to male staffers. Alleged allegations DeMeo categorically denied. In a lengthy video statement posted last month, he claimed the allegations were part of a smear campaign orchestrated by Marvel Studios to discredit him and distract him from deeper misconduct within the company. And it pretty much looks like it's just a repadding of like what was mentioned. When I called these things out, they pivoted to attack my talent, accusing me of being too much of a fanboy. This just sounds delusional. I don't recall anybody ever talking about on how big of a fanboy DeMeo was. Like maybe Yellow Flash pointing out that he there were certain maybe shots from like X-Men covers that he kind of tipped his hat to. But to say that he was such a fanboy is ridiculous. I think this guy, I believe, in a past interview. He brought his sexuality back into it was his sexuality first and the comments second, the comics second, openly resented me, fighting for the fans, fighting for the comics. They accused me of playing karaoke with these comics, and repeatedly I was told by these individuals that we should be doing our own version of X-Men, writing new stories and not adapting those written by old white men, by which I could only assume they were referencing individuals like Stan Lee and Chris Claremont. These individuals will then attempt to sabotage me and my job. Whatever. It is wrong for an artist on the show to repeatedly denounce all men as jerks and to accuse me of failing the cause because I'm keeping a jerk like Cyclops as leader of the team. Dude, who cares? You straight up wanted Morph became non-binary. You had said person having physical, relationships or wanting physical attraction to Wolverine. Like, oh my gosh, this is so stupid. This is all, to me, smoke and mirror claims. I'm not this because I kept Cyclops as the leader, but right over here I made Morph non-binary, and he wants to, bang Wolverine in the butt. It's like, dude, like, I'm not falling for it, man. And the animation's garbage. Everyone gave me shit for saying the animation was garbage. It's straight up garbage. Just like the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man one. It's shit. And recently they're doing the same animation sort of thing where apparently you don't run a constant 30 frames per second, apparently, with the new Devil May Cry Netflix series. Like, ridiculous. So following DeMayo's dismissal, Marvel Studios announced X-Men 97 seasons 2 and 3 are in development, with Matt Chauncey stepping in as the new showrunner. Reports indicate the second season has undergone revisions, though no official release has been confirmed. Meanwhile, DeMayo remains at odds with Marvel in his lawsuits against the studio ongoing. He has hinted he may reveal more details, including potentially naming names at the top of Marvel when the court date appears. Friction between DeMayo and Marvel Studios is far from over. X-Men 97's success continues to highlight deeper tension brewing inside Disney's once invincible superhero empire. Got some comments here. What's success? 97 basically just defiled the corpses of the original X-Men show. No one should feel pride in taking credit for that. I agree. My point exactly. I don't give a fuck what DeMaio had to say about anything. The man lost any respect I might have had for him by using woke to advance him. Then he has the gall to think anyone's going to suddenly have pity when it turns on him. No forgiveness without genuine efforts to prove change. See, these comments right here. I am not the only one that thinks this way. I may have done a poor job explaining what my thoughts are, but these people have definitely encapsulated what, to an extent to what I was trying to say. So I don't. Ridiculous. Hilarious, but whatever. Kotaku might be no more. Kotaku could be in deep trouble as former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick sues parent company for alleged defamation on controversial gaming site. Uh-oh. In a move that could significantly impact Kotaku and its parent company, GO Media. So former Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick has filed a defamation lawsuit alleging deliberate misrepresentation by two of the media's group outlets. Filed in the Superior Court of Delaware, the suit specifically targets Kotaku and Gizmodo, I guess, maybe, citing coverage that referenced long withdrawn allegations unrelated to the topic at hand. According to the legal complaint, Kotick contends that both Kotaku and I want to say Gizmodo, but it's like Gizmodo, published articles regarding his rumor involvement in a potential acquisition of TikTok. Kotick's alleges that the outlets unnecessarily revived past accusation against him that had already been dismissed as part of their coverage. So pretty much hit pieces. Lawsuit states that the referenced claim stemming from prior investigations into Activision Blizzard has been, quote, conclusively disproven by numerous investigations, yet were still used in the articles. Codex argues this inclusion served no journalistic purpose and was designed to cause reputational harm. Efforts from Codex representatives to request corrections were reportedly met with minimal actions. Gizmodo removed the word disgrace from its original headline, and both sites later added brief clarification. Codex asserts that the articles continue to mischaracterize the situation. This seems to mirror the situation with YouTuber Mr. Beast, who was misquoted by Kotaku, leading to massive backlash against him. Kotaku once more simply edited the headlines and included a small blurb at the end of the article after it had already been up in its original form for over a week, with no formal apology or clarifying social media post. Yep, and it comes amid growing scrutiny in media practices across the gaming and tech journalism sectors. The case highlights ongoing concerns regarding the responsibilities of media outlets when reporting on individuals previously involved in legal disputes, particularly after the resolution of such matter. Yeah, yeah. And you can just tell by their action. They only changed one word in the headlines. It's absolutely a hit piece, and they don't care about it. Well, now they're facing a lawsuit, so, screw them. Don't feel sorry for them at all. Geo Media had faced similar legal challenges in the past. The company previously owned Deadspin, an outlet that encountered a defamation lawsuit it ultimately lost, leading to significant consequences for the publication. Then scrutiny, Codex reference dates back to 2021. California Civil Rights Department launched an investigation against Activision Blizzard regarding alleged workplace misconducts. Case garnered widespread attention, accumulating in a $54 million settlement agreement in late 2023. The settlement explicitly stated that no court or any independent investigation has substantiated any allegations of systemic workplace misconduct, nor the senior leadership condones such behavior. Despite the outcome, Kotick's lawsuit argues that Kotaku and Gizmodo's recent reporting omitted key facts, choosing instead to repeat claims that had been resolved in a court of law. Yeah, they're scum. Media company has undergone rounds of layoff, that would be G/O Media, and leadership changes in recent months, with Kotaku itself seeing a significant reduction in staff. A certain Mercante, if you will, she's done something similar. People like that are also in a lawsuit too. Combination of operational challenges and legal battles could pose serious risks to the company's long-term stability. I think Kotaku is probably going to just fizzle off and fade away into the ether like the scum it is. If successful, the lawsuit could set a precedent for how media organizations handle previously resolved legal matters, especially when referencing them in unrelated coverages. Also underscores the growing legal focus on accountability in digital journalism, particularly as outlets face increasing pressure to maintain both accuracy and ethical reporting practices. And Kotaku nor G/O Media have made a public statement in response to the lawsuit because they're not going to, because they're a bunch of pussies. Well, there you go. All right. So, got a couple reports here, all talking about Ubisoft's recent headlines, I guess you can say, in that they have gathered together lawyers to protect the devs after the Assassin's Creed Shadows launch for, if anybody harasses them and stuff like that. And of course, what this really means is criticism. Any criticisms, they will perceive it as harassment, and these retard lawyers will probably try to go after them or something like that. Ridiculous. We all see through the garbage. But let's find out exactly the details. So this comes from Tech for Gamers. AC Shadows Ubisoft readies anti-harassment plans with lawyers to protect devs after launch. So it's just around the corner as the title is finally coming out on March 20th after multiple delays. While the developers have high hopes for the record results, and the title is currently the second best-selling on Amazon Japan, Ubisoft is also preparing to deal with the negativity. It has been reported that Ubisoft plans to protect developers from online harassment. The team is already working with lawyers to monitor networks and act accordingly. Oh my gosh. Why it matters. This is a must-take step for Ubisoft. No, it's not. It's, oh my gosh. As fans have already criticized the game and is likely to receive even more hate during the launch period. That's not harassment. Criticism is not harassment. For heaven's sakes. Oh my gosh. These people are weak. Weak-spirited morons. Now, I'll give the only credit I will give them is the saying of a broken clock is right at least twice a day. There are indeed mentally unstable people on both sides of the spectrum. But no one is doing any sort of physical violence against the devs at all. If anything, it's either A, again, one or two very fringed weirdos out there who probably are just scumbags to begin with anyway, and chances are it's on their side, these people that do it. We see this all the time. We see it with people like Antifa, BLM, all this crap. It always stems from the side that says the other side's doing it. It's the projection from these people have gone to insanity level. It is absolutely crazy. How do I know this? How do I know that really a lot of these mentally unstable people is from actually the people that support the devs? Some of them probably even devs themselves and all that stuff. This is the side that can't tell you what a woman is. That is all you need to know. So a recent report from Tech & Co. suggests that Ubisoft plans to protect developers from harassment during the launch period of Assassin's Creed Shadows. The plan will offer psychological and legal support to developers while collaborating with the Canadian Communications Security Establishment to fight against harassment. Oh my gosh. It's an initiative from Canada. There's a team that monitors networks and acts quickly in the event of a targeted attack. He further stated that this is more serious than anything Ubisoft has done in the past to address harassment. Unlike what we've had before. This is serious. Oh, fuck right off. The CSE will look closely at the tweets posted by users online, on Reddit, and even on YouTube videos, and will respond quickly. Ubisoft has previously removed videos from YouTubers against the title, so it's likely to happen again during the launch week. Are you excited to play Assassin's Creed Shadows? Nope, I'm not. I have no plan to do it. All right, so we got some information from there. We also got Fandom Pulse here with an article as well. Let's see if they have any additional information. We got one from Fandom Pulse. We have one from that Park Place. And, oh, wait, that's it. This is another one from Tech for Gamers that talks about that Ubisoft is afraid Ghost of Yota or Yote will outshine the latest blockbuster in the long term, which is hilarious. I've seen some gameplay of Assassin's Creed Shadows, says Kamongo over on YouTube. Looks like a standard game in the series. Yeah, it looks very, standard. I saw the one where some people were like, oh, this is hardcore because Yasuke, there's some gameplay footage of Yasuke, cutting off, an enemy's arms and then beheading him, which I feel like I've seen that so many times in games. And people are like, man, this hits hard. And it's like, not really. I've seen worse. So a new reporter alleges that Ubisoft has a team that it plans to deploy to counter alleged harassment over Assassin's Creed Shadows. A new report from Melinda Devon Solas at French language BMF TV claims that Ubisoft has put together a team in order to counter alleged harassment its employers might face as it releases Assassin's Creed Shadows later this week. So was translated from French by DeepL. She shared an online anti-harassment plan was even presented to the CSE to accompany that release of the game and protect employees. Next, she cited a source who shared it's an initiative. Okay, we've read that one. There's a team that monitors the network and acts quickly in event of a targeted attack. This team will provide psychological as well as a potential legal support for employees who are alleged targets. Von Solas reported that the team will be monitoring posts to X and Reddit as well as YouTube. Also has lawyers ready to lodge complaints in the event of proven harassment situations. You know, I was thinking about this. Does Ubisoft really have the money to create this team of lawyers and to go around filing like, you know, harassment, like complaints and all that stuff? Dude, you guys aren't doing so well. You guys like probably will go bankrupt. Like you really do not have the money to be doing this sort of stuff, in all honesty. On top of being able to deploy this team, Ubisoft has also instructed employees to not post on social media. One alleged employee said, we're advised not to post on social media that we work at Ubisoft to avoid harassment. What do you make of Ubisoft having a response team that is monitor posts on X and Reddit and even YouTube? When you actually have to hire lawyers to stop your consumers complaining about your game. Very true. All part of their strategy to minimize criticism by claiming it's harassment. That's exactly what I said. They're using their high-paid fancy lawyers to try and intimidate people into being quiet. Yep. That's what it is. It's harassment. They can't handle criticism because they're scum. Ubisoft so this one comes from that Park Place as well. Ubisoft deploys a legal team, and now that Park Place is saying the actual government to help to silence Assassin's Creed Shadow critics and combat development harassment. Reports now indicate that the company has quietly enlisted a special team tasked with shielding the developers for what they call online harassments. However, it's the vague, undefined nature of what Ubisoft actually considers harassment that's raising serious concerns. And as many questioning whether the company is simply using this initiative to silence critics and control the narrative around its latest highly controversial title. Okay. So it looks like it is indeed from the employee speaking with French outlet BFM TV, an anonymous Ubisoft put in a sweeping anti-online harassment plan. Again, X, YouTube, Reddit, and others. As lawyers already lined up, prepared to file complaints against those they believe are crossing the line. The company has even gone for as far as advising developers not to disclose their employment on social media to avoid becoming targets. While there's no doubt that personal threats directed at employees are unacceptable, I agree. Many fans and industry observers are asking the critical question, where's Ubisoft drawing the line? Could negative reviews, memes, or even fair criticism of Assassin's Creed Shadow fall under their interpretation of, quote, harassment? Making matters even more troubling, reports suggest that Ubisoft is working directly with Canada. Oh, okay, that's where the government is. The Canadian Communications Security Establishment. I guess I never put it together. To monitor online discourse. So the CSE's involvement in agency tied closely to government cybersecurity and oversight has sparked fresh concerns about whether a major gaming corporation should have access to such state-backed tools for monitoring public commentary. Yeah, a video game corporation has access to the state because they do not want criticism for a game that nobody asked for. Oh my gosh. The idea of a government affiliated body assisting in silencing criticism, not illegal behavior, but simple criticism, has raised red flags for those worried about growing censorship in gaming spaces. Remember when these people got really mad when when Japan's government was kind of brought into the situation? Remember how upset they got? Is this truly about protecting employees, or is it about protecting Ubisoft's brand image at all costs? I don't even know. Like, I don't even care about the developers, really. Like, I do not have time to worry about these people. Ubisoft has had a rough few years. Cancellations of titles like X Defiant, poor receptions to games like Star Wars Outlaw, repeated financial setbacks. The company's facing significant pressure from investors and fans alike. Internally, Ubisoft's leadership is under fire, with major shareholders even calling for CEO Yves Guillemot's removal. Eason. Again, that's what I'm wondering too. Like, do they really have the money to be worrying about this sort of stuff? But much of the pressure now rests on the shoulders of Assassin's Creed Shadows, a game that's faced months of backlash for everything from historical inaccuracies to questionable design choices. Instead of addressing the actual criticism such as why a black samurai with debatable historical ties is front and center in a Japan set story, Ubisoft seems to be doubling down, rolling out legal teams and government assistance to control the conversation online. This isn't a strategy focused on delivering a product that can stand on its own. It's about silencing negative voices, regardless of whether the feedback is legitimate. It sets a dangerous precedent, not just for Ubisoft, but for the gaming industry as a whole. I agree with that 100%. Like, this is straight up insanity. And the problem, again, lies with Ubisoft's refusal to clearly define what constitutes as harassment. Without transparency, content creators, journalists, and regular gamers are left wondering, could honest reviews or negative opinions suddenly be flagged, removed, or met with legal threats? Given recent instances where Ubisoft allegedly targeted creators for simply discussing leaks or criticizing internal decisions, it's not reasonable to think this new, quote, anti-harassment policy could be weaponized. When a company conflates public commentary with personal abuse, it becomes clear that free discourse is at risk. And Ubisoft's financial instability, paired with its insistence on controlling online narratives rather than improving its product, points to a company in deep crisis. Instead of embracing feedback and listening to its longtime fan base, Ubisoft appears more concerned with silencing dissent, even if it means enlisting government help to do so. Pretty scummy. As Assassin's Creed Shadows approach its launch day, the gaming community faces a pivotal moment. While Ubisoft's strategy of clamping down on criticism set a new industry standard, or will players push back against the creeping control over how games are discussed? I will say the latter. I think players will push back. Got some stuff here, comments. Yeah, everyone, this is saying like they can't really afford for the game to fail. Yep. All a ruse to censor critics. No one is threatening deaths. The only harassment they get is from their own degenerate DEI coworkers. Yes, exactly. Robocompinator. You are 100% Robocompinator. And that's what I said earlier on. The violence, the harassment, and everything always stems from their side. Now, I said like a broken clock is right at least twice a day, but these people want you to be using the broken clock as your permanent way of keeping time, which is absolutely crazy. All right. Well, there you go. That was the Assassin's Creed hubbub that's happening. Ultimately, in the end, I don't care because I'm not getting the game. I do care in terms of games being made and, great. Make games great again, I guess you could say, in terms of like give products of what the customer actually wants instead of all this garbage that they're doing. And when a lot of gamers have stated, yes, we don't like this, you don't use government and lawyers to silence criticism. It just makes you scummy. So Tech for Gamers has pointed out that Ubisoft devs are afraid of Ghosts of Yotei because it will outshine lasting blockbuster in long term. Ubisoft's cadence for delivering rich open world set in famous historical places with the Assassin's Creed franchise eventually led to the demand of the Japanese setting. While the gaming giant is set to officially fulfill this demand, they did not fulfill the demand. Not the way people were asking. This week, PlayStation beat Ubisoft to the punch, delivering an Assassin's Creed-like open world in Japan with Ghost of Tsushima. Since Ghost of Yote also arrives later this year, Ubisoft has now expressed concern about Assassin's Creed Shadows being outshined. Oh, dude. It was outshined by what? The Call to Ronin? There have been plenty of other games that have already outshined Assassin's Creed Shadow. It is the most important entry in the series' history since its commercial performance will make or break Ubisoft. A recent report outlining Ubisoft's developer concerns about the studio's current financial position, they pointed to Ghost of Yote as a potential threat to Assassin's Creed Shadows. Although the latter comes out much earlier, the French gaming giant has set its sights on long-term success. This, however, is easier said than done, particularly because Ghost of Yote is expected to become the center of attention once its marketing picks up the pace. Both games offer a similar gameplay style. I would say that Ghost of Tsushima established a style before Assassin's Creed, but whatever. With the Japanese setting being the primary appeal. In fact, Ghost of Tsushima was often dubbed the unofficial Japanese Assassin's Creed before Ubisoft delved into the setting. Ouch. Given that many have already grown attached to Sucker Punch's work on the series, they may gloss over Assassin's Creed Shadow. Ghost of Yote also promises to push creative boundaries, generating plenty of hype ahead of the release. Well, yeah, hype of the fact of people going, why the hell did you just say, forget, what's the main guy's name? The main guy from Ghost of Tsushima. Can't remember his name. Yeah, but they hyped about it, but it wasn't the hype they wanted. Everyone said, who's this chick? Like, are we done with the other guy? And everyone's like, and then they pretty much just tell you where you can get the games on what platforms. There you go. Looks like Ubisoft in general is just worrying left and right about everything, which, whatever. They can crash and burn for all I care. That he was such a fanboy is ridiculous. Masahiro Sakurai says Japanese devs should make uniquely Japanese games, not westernized games. Dude, based. Comes from Niche Gamer. Kirby series creator and Super Smash Bros. Series creator director Masahiro Sakurai recently talked up games made in Japan and the importance of making uniquely Japanese games. Recently, Mr. Sakurai was awarded as a recipient of the Art Encouragement Prize for New Artists, which is awarded by the Agency of Cultural Affairs in Japan. But it was not due to creating the iconic character of Kirby or even directing Super Smash Bros. That got Mr. Sakurai this award. Instead, it was due to his YouTube channel, Masahiro Sakurai on Creating Games. I'll have to check it out. While giving an interview to NTAX via Automaton Media, Sakurai expressed his opinion that Japanese studios were overdoing it with trying to cater to an American audience. Not necessarily my own idea, but the trend in the game industry is that Japanese people should go ahead and do what Japanese people like to do. I think that's a good idea, he said. And he added, a while ago, there was a culture of let's make Americanized products because they are popular in the US, and so on. There was certainly such a culture. However, surprisingly, I feel that Japanese game lovers overseas are not looking for such things, but rather for Japanese uniqueness and fun. Yes, he elaborated. In other words, I thought that the ideal would be to make games the way you like to make them and have people who can accept them enjoy them. Dude, based. Thank you. Oh my gosh. And this concept should not be that hard. Like, it is amazing on how this concept is just falls on death's ear over here in the West. It's sad and it's pathetic. The trend on changing to suit Western tastes is not a new one, but it has accelerated in recent years. Some games even feature terminology like Riz and other brain rot terminology that is popular with younger Gen Z kids and Generation Alpha. Oh, Generation Alpha? I never heard of that one before. My gosh. But Gen Z is retarded. This can dilute the experience for both Japanese audiences and Western audience who sought out anime because of its own unique aesthetic. Changing game dialogue and story choices to include American slang terms could end up simply ruining a piece of what had made anime attractive to Western fans to begin with. I agree with this. Now, I'm going to be biased because I grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, and I think our slang terms were awesome. I think Gen Z slang terms and this Generation Alpha, like Riz and Brain Rot's fine, but Riz, or like going, yeah, queen or king, like gay as hell. Gay as hell. It's so stupid. But Masahiro Sakurai, excuse me, is awesome. Masahiro-san is correct. I agree. Alrighty. Well, that's all I have for today. I do have this one last one here over at Niche Gamer. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream finally getting modern re-release on consoles. Funny enough, I just think it's funny because I was actually kind of thinking about this. It's a classic horror game based on a 60s novel. That's pretty creepy. And I watched a little bit of gameplay from it. And I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But now apparently it's getting a re-release. Publisher Night Dive Studios and developer The Dreamers Guild have announced a modern console re-release for I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, the classic horror game based on the classic 60s novel of the same name. It is set to be re-released for Xbox One, Xbox Series XS, Switch, PS4, PS5 on March 27th. This is the first time the game is being ported to home consoles. Originally released for MS-DOS back in 1950, co-developed by Cyberdreams and the Dreamers Guild, with original novel/creator Harlan Ellison co-designing the game and also voicing, I think what's his name? AM. Yeah, AM, the master computer AM. He also does the voice too. It was later ported to modern PC via Steam in 2013 by Night Dive Studios and for smartphones in 2016. And then you got a rundown of the game here. But I just think that's really cool. Hopefully it doesn't get like ruined or anything like that, but I just think it's funny that I was kind of thinking about that, and lo and behold, the game's getting like port. Well, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoy this show, but let's end the show here by taking a gander at what games were released today and tomorrow. I think we'll go ahead. We'll just do game facts here. Let's go back real quick. So March 18th, Goonies 2. There you go. Ooh, Streets of Rage 3 for Genesis. Legend of Heroes 2, Prophecy of the Moonlight Witch. Not sure about that one. Ooh, Metal Slug X. There you go. Yu-Gi-Oh! Dark Duel Stories. Clock Tower 3. Oh, Inuyasha, The Secret of the Cursed Mask. I played the crap out of that game. I love that game. Legend of Zelda, Four Swords Adventures. Very good. Metal Gear Solid, The Essential Collections. Sega Superstar Tennis, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Vegas 2, Gundam Assault Survive, Yakuza 4, Metal Gear Solid Ground Zero. There you go. Very nice, dude. Solid games. Very solid games. And then let's take a look at what's happening tomorrow. Oh, Super Metroid. Very nice. Real Bout Fatal Fury 2. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald version for the Game Boy Advance. Armored Core for Answers. SimCity Creator. Harvest Moon, Hero of Leaf Valley. Ruins of Magic. Monster Hunter 3. Oh gosh, J-Star Victory Versus. I remember. I think I grabbed that game and I returned it. I was just not a fan of it. Oh gosh, Doom Eternal, Resident Evil 3. The remake. Very nice. There you go. that was some solid games. All right. Well, I'm going to dip off for tonight, but thanks for everyone for hanging out. Oh no, Ubisoft, please don't come after me. I was just reading the news. But in any case, you guys have a good rest of your night. Take care. Thanks for the support, and should be online hopefully tomorrow to be gaming. If not, like I said, I kind of have a tight workload, so if you don't see me for the remainder of the week, that's probably why. But I was able to kind of squeeze in a show here. But again, thanks for your support. Take care, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. God bless. Peace.